That's a really interesting question. What got me interested in voice acting is really weird because a lot of people know that I was an anime fan and that I ended up as a voice actor, and I think a lot of people think that it was just a, hey, I'd like to be a voice actor, boom. I was a professional actor from the time that I was 7. I did industrial films, I did a science fiction film that I hope never sees the light of day. I did educational films, I did commercials, all in Richmond, Virginia. When I moved to Texas, I got involved in Theater to the Stars, which is the largest nonprofit theater in the country. My brother and I both did theater our whole lives. That being said, when I turned into a teenager, I thought that getting in trouble and riding a skateboard was much more interesting. And I kind of gave up theater and performing altogether. And I didn't start doing it again until I was in my late 20s. During my teenage years, when I was being a rebel, that's when I found anime. That's when I started watching anime and started getting into anime. But I was that kid that refused to watch anything in English. You know, you'll never be as good as the Japanese. I would never watch anime in English. That was me. That was totally me. That was me. I say this is why I do this for a living, because I said so much, I talked so much crap back then. But, so the thought of ever jumping into an acting arena there was ridiculous. Well, when I started performing again, I was working on a show called Runaways with Monica Rial, Chris Patton, Carly Mosier, a lot of people that are, Allison Summerall, a lot of people that you know as voice actors for ADV. I was familiar with their work, and I knew they were great actors. I either worked with them or knew their work from other Houston theater things, and that's when I started kind of watching. I think I watched some of Monica's stuff, and anything Monica was in, Chris was in. And about that time, I was working at a law firm, and they were trying to find a fit for the role of McDougal in Spriggan. I didn't get the role, but that's kind of what led ADV to find me. I was a help desk guy at a law firm, a really big, crappy law firm, and I was at my desk getting help desk calls, like, Ayres, my PowerPoint's not working, Ayres, I need you to fix my keyboard, and then out of nowhere I hear Stephen Foster, oh my God, you do sound just like a little child. And I was like, what kind of attorney is that? You know? I didn't know, but it was Monica and Chris had said, look, call my friend, he's in his 30s and he sounds like he's 12. Call him, just listen to his voicemail and you'll hear. So that's what they did. They listened to my voicemail and they're like, oh my God, this guy sounds like a little kid. And so it was kind of a meeting in the middle. Like ADV came looking for me and I auditioned for that one show, and it was the fanboy in me. The fact that when I was auditioning, I was, even if it was only 15 seconds of footage, the fact that I was seeing any anime before anyone else was kind of a big deal to me. I'm like, I just saw a show that's not out yet. You know, I saw like, and during the audition process, I kind of got bit by that bug, and I was like, I kind of like to do this. And I auditioned for almost a year and never got a role. But the nerdy fanboy in me just loved being able to say, yeah, I'm going to ADV today for an audition, you know? And so it was kind of a natural progression. And then, after I started working as a voice actor, the law firm I worked for got in a lot of trouble because one of their major oil and gas clients, I can't say the name, but it rhymes with Wenlon, became very infamous for doing something bad. And so at the time that we were all laid off from that job, I was already taking all of my vacation time. It was funny because when I got cast in Sayuki, I went to my boss, I went to my boss and I said, look, this is a once-in-a-lifetime shot. I'm being offered to play a role of a character that I already love in a show that, you know, I know will be very important to a lot of people. Please don't stand in my way of doing this. I'll take my vacation time, I'll work overtime, but please don't get in my way. And I remember my boss going, okay, but just this one show. And I was like, okay. Well, then I auditioned for, you know, Neoranga and Full Metal Panic and Super Gals. And they were like, this show is taking forever to record. I was working on like 6 shows by the time that we got in trouble. And I had used all of my vacation time. I was taking do not pay days. So I knew that time was coming. They were going to do the whole, you have to choose between your good job and your fun job. And I had already decided, you know, like, work for an evil law firm that I have to say represents everything that is wrong in this world and still sleep with myself at night, or work in a field that is inspiring and creative? And the answer was already there for me. So when we got laid off, it was surreal because everybody around me was like, you know, angry, and I was just like, so, you know, I got a severance package, I got 2 weeks pay, and like, I got to go make anime. So I was like, and it was funny. I was like, well, I'll see you guys on TV, and I just walked out. So it was actually really cool. And the second part of the question is a really hard one to answer because people always ask me what my favorite role is. It was Son Goku because it was a show that I was in love with, and Minikura, whose artwork that I love, who is still cranking out stuff, thank God. And then it was Kaoru, because I never thought I would ever work on Evangelion, you know, like, I know how Johnny felt getting to work on the second recording of Akira. And it was Chrono and Chrono Crusade, because, you know, I lost something very dear to me. I lost Son Goku to that other company that did Reload, or I should say messed up Sayuki. And I was very upset that I would never play that role again. And I remember Matt Greenfield saying, oh, there's this other guy I think you'll like a lot. And that was made extremely special by meeting Daisuke Moriyama before the end of the show and finding out what a wonderful guy he was. And no sooner was that over than I met Heihachi in Samurai 7, who I absolutely fell in love with, and who is a guy that I would hang out with in real life if he was a real person. And then Hideki and Nirama Daikon brothers, and, you know, Koyuki and Beck. And now I have to say I'm a little sweet on Kaoru in, you know, Oran, because he's kind of the sensible one and the soft-spoken one, which is definitely not me. So I think one of the neat things about doing this job is I can fall in love with all of my characters. Second place in Super Gals, you know, like Mayan in Pre-Tier. I'm so lucky because I've gotten to play so many really, really great, really deep characters that, you know, even if I was the guy in the background that got stepped on all the time, it would be fun. But I've been fortunate enough to play some really, really heavy roles, and some roles that were, you know, not just, oh my god, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's hard to pick one. I think all-time favorites would be Chrono, Koyuki, Son Goku, and Kaoru Nagisa, and then everybody else in third place, or whatever. But it's a tough call. We all get asked that question a lot, and none of us ever have a brilliant answer. We're like, they're all my children, I love them all. But